This is a quick overview of the Arturia Pigments Software Synthesizer. Version 3 was released earlier in 2021. In the meantime, Pigments was updated to version 3.5 for free with some additional interesting features and sounds. I love it when the music software we purchase gets better over time. More companies should do that. It took me a while to record this video since I was new to Pigments and needed some time to experiment with it and understand it. When you open up Pigments, the user interface looks really clean. It is beautifully animated, very functional and not overly complex. However, make no mistake, this synth is packed with impressive features that over time I came to appreciate. On the top, we see the preset browser section and access to our preset library. Pigments comes with a ton of built-in presets and an access to a separate store. Also make sure that you install the free sound presets that might be included in your purchase. And presets for me really serve two purposes. On the one hand, you get sounds that you hopefully can use out of the box to inspire you to play something right away. And on the other hand, every preset is study material that shows you how a particular sound was accomplished by using the synthesizer in front of you. So it gives you really a lot of good teachings in terms of sound design. Furthermore, on the top, we have the tab bar that gives us access to the synth section, the effects section, and a sequencer, Arpeggiator. We'll get to that later. Below that, we have a row of our modulation source signals with miniscopes that update live and give us instant feedback that allow us to understand how specific modulation sources help shape the sound. And here we can really control any parameter with our modulation signals. Furthermore, further down below, we can set the advanced settings and detailed parameters of our modulation sources. So on the one hand, we have the keyboard. We can change the tuning. We can change poly or mono mode. And the velocity curves and other parameters. Furthermore, we have 3 envelope generators. We have access to 3 LFOs that we can configure. Access to 3 function generators, where you can draw almost arbitrary functions. 3 random signal generators that we can configure individually. And 3 combination sources that allow us to pick a source modulation signal and modulate another modulation signal. Lastly, here on the bottom, we have access to the macro knobs. We can assign 4 macros that will be mapped to our keyboard and give us access to instantly update whatever parameters we map to these macro knobs. As for the sound engine, we have 2 identical engines here on the top and an additional utility engine. The regular sound engines can be configured to create an analog, or let's call it simulated or virtual analog sound. And if you take a look at modern high-end analog synthesizers, what you get is essentially 3 oscillators with different shapes of waveforms that they can produce, like sine wave, triangle waves, or sawtooth wave, or a square wave. If that is not what we want to create, we can choose the wavetable synthesis and choose from one of the many included wavetables. Or alternatively, choose our sample-based engines and pick one of the many built-in samples. Then also with Pigments 3, the granular synthesis was introduced, so we can enable that and choose a sample grain. Let's disable that and compare. I need some tuning, but you get the idea, I hope. And furthermore, we have a Harmonic Engine, which is essentially additive FM synthesis, where we can choose how many parcels we want to create. And we can also choose a modulation over this FM synthesizer. You get to see the pattern that we selected here. Well, anyways, and then engine 2 we can configure separately. Same parameters here. And with Arturia's Pigments 3.5 update, we even got to cross-modulate each sound engine with each other, if that's what we wish to do. Here. Lastly, we have a utility engine with noise sources. Just added some white noise here. And another oscillator, which is usually configured as a sub-oscillator, so an octave down. But you can use it however you wish, just like the other analog oscillators. Before I continue with the filter section, you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to not miss out on any follow-ups, and if you like to see videos about particular features of the synthesizer, just drop a comment below and let me know what interests you. This video is not sponsored. I bought Pigments from my own money. The retail price is about $200. Every so often Arturia has a 50% off sale. You get it for $100, so you can look out for that if you can wait. Or if you have other Arturia soft or hardware, you may be offered a cross-grade upgrade every so often, and then you may just be ending up paying $70, which is what I did sometime earlier last year. Would I buy it again? Definitely yes. The sound generation features are incredible. I haven't really seen something like that in another software synthesizer. So it's a super powerful tool, and I'm really enjoying this. As for the filters, we can configure 2 separate filter sections with a plethora of accessible filters. And what I want to add here is many of the filters are inspired by classical synthesizers like the Roland Jupiter 8 or the Minimoog synthesizer or Oberheim's Matrix or Oberheim's SAM module. Furthermore, under multimode, you can choose between different low pass, high pass, band pass, or notch filters. And then whatever feature you don't need, you can switch it off to save CPU power. And here in the last section, that is our velocity and amplifier control. We can also choose how the filters are chained or processed in parallel, how the voices are panned, and how much of the signal gets out into the effects section. I think we keep it at that for today. In one of my next videos, I'll show you how to create a sound from scratch with Arturia's Pigments, so consider subscribing to not miss it. Thank you.